on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to beautiful AT&T Park in San Francisco, California. This is the second game of this three-game series, the start of interleague play for the Blue Jays, and they won last night behind Aaron Sanchez. 3-1, the Blue Jays managed just 7 hits, but they made them count. Edwin Encarnacion with a 2-run home run, and the Blue Jays are off to a good start on this road trip. Jay Happ and Russell Martin having a little chat. Matt Cain takes the mound for the Giants. It's been a real struggle for Matt Cain so far this season. It is 14 degrees at the start of play tonight. The Blue Jays are at 500. Kevin Pillar, top of the order. Edwin Encarnacion, the cleanup man. He had a big game last night over his last 6 games. He's hit 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and driven in 10. That's just exactly what the Blue Jays want from Encarnacion. Troy Tulowitzki. Against tonight's starter, Matt Cain has had a good run. He's hit .328 against Cain with 11 extra base hits and 10 RBIs. And as we mentioned, Pat, Matt Cain has really struggled.
Yeah, and a chance, I think, for the offense to boost some of their numbers tonight because Matt Cain is winless in 6 starts this season. Roughed up in his last start versus Colorado. He only lasted 4 innings, gave up 10 hits, 8 runs, 6 of them earned. And this has been a carryover for Cain from 2015. His last win came in San Diego last July the 22nd, if you can believe that, nearly 10 months ago. His last victory, since that last victory, he's 0-7 with an ERA over 7. 13 starts. The Giants are just 2-11 in those 13 starts for Cain. At one time, he was one of the best pitchers in the American or in the National League. And for his career, he's 97 and 103.
Dropped under that 500 mark. Let's take a look at the defense behind Matt Cain. New left fielder, that's Jared Parker, starting for the first time this season. Denard Spans in center. Hunter Pence is in right. On the infield, it is Matt Duffy at third. Kelby Tomlinson gets a start tonight, just his second start at shortstop this season. Joe Panik is the second baseman. Brandon Meltzer first, and Buster Posey, the fine catcher, back behind the plate. He did not start in the game, but appeared as a pinch hitter in last night's game.
Well, you mentioned Jarrett Parker out in left field. Angel Pagan still nursing a sore hamstring. So Parker, who was just brought up yesterday, gets his first start this season. He was putting on a show in batting practice today, launching balls into McCovey Cove.
Parker had a good run last year with the Giants in a couple of different stints. Kevin Pillar stands in. Pillar in the game last night, 0 for 4 with a walk, goes after the first pitch, and we are underway. 14 degrees, as we mentioned, at the start of this ball game. Pillar, .291 for the season. Ball gets away from Posey. It's a ball and a strike to the leadoff man.
Matt Cain says there's nothing wrong with my stuff. He just needs to execute. A lot like Jake Peavy, which we saw last night. Peavy couldn't execute. He only lasted 5 innings. And Matt Cain still has the good breaking ball, still has the good fastball, but he's been making a lot of mistakes within the strike zone.
It's a little cutter that missed downstairs. And Pat, when you get to this point, he has made 13 starts without recording a win. It's got to start creeping into your mind a little bit.
Start thinking about it just a little bit. And the last thing you can do, though, you can't be defensive. I think you have to be aggressive. You have to go after the Blue Jays.
There's a ball hit into left field, and Garrett Parker got a nice start on it. Jared Parker makes a running, sliding catch to retire Kevin Pillar.
That's why we highlighted him in the defense. I knew that first ball was going to go out to him. He got a good jump on that ball, and it hung up for Pillar off the bat initially. It looked like it was headed for extra bases. Parker runs that one down and makes a nice sliding catch.
This ballpark changes by the hour here. During batting practice, the ball was flying out of this ballpark, and as it gets a little darker and later into the day, the ball doesn't carry. Donaldson pulls the breaking ball foul.
Had a lot of mishaps down there, that left field line here in these first 2 games.
And the Giants, they have what they call the ball dudes down there that retrieve the foul balls and balls out of play. Ray Ramirez is down there tonight. He's 56 years old, getting a chance to be the ball dude. There's a strike with a fastball. 0-2. Matt Cain jumps ahead of Josh Donaldson.
When Cain was right, he was 93, 94 miles an hour with his fastball. Good location. Could pitch to both sides of the plate. Now you see that time he humped up just a little bit on that fastball and hit 90. He has had some problems, some injuries in his career.
Number that jumps out at you. You mentioned the batting average. They've hit .341 against him. Donaldson gets a base hit to left. A two-strike base hit. A one-out single for Donaldson. And Matt Cain, we mentioned how much success he's had in the past, but it's really been kind of a downward spiral since 2012 when he was an all-star.
He was an all-star and he threw a perfect game, and his ERA was .279. But look what's happened since then. Steadily going up and up and up. And when you lose 2, 3, 4 miles per hour on your fastball, things like that are going to happen. What's surprising about all that, Buck, is he's doing that in this ballpark, which is a pitcher's ballpark, and he's doing it in the National League. Doesn't have to worry about the designated hitter.
Jose Bautista in last night's game singled in his first at bat, then had a couple of walks. He finished up 1 for 3 officially. Inside. Well, you mentioned Cain's struggles in this ballpark. You look at his opponent's batting average in his last 2 home starts. They've hit .435 off of him. Lots of Blue Jay fans in attendance. And they have gotten to wander around this beautiful ballpark.
Saw the blue jerseys all around town today. Blue Jay hats and jerseys and t-shirts and everything getting into the Blue Jays.
There goes Donaldson. He got a great jump. It's off the end of the bat. Cain knocks it down. He flips to first, and Donaldson will end up at second base for Edwin Encarnacion.
Strolling to the plate is Edwin Encarnacion, and this is what he did last night. Putting the finishing touches on the Blue Jays scoring. This was in the 3rd inning. A long home run to left field. That now gives him 34 home runs in the interleague play. And if you don't think trying to navigate through Bautista and Encarnacion in interleague play is tough, they're the leaders.
They reached base 6 times last night in their plate appearances. Edwin added a single and a walk to that home run. 2 outs. Donaldson at second. First pitch strike.
It's such a formidable duo, if you will. Since 2010, both Bautista and Encarnacion have launched 34 home runs in interleague play.
Big foul back as he kind of dropped that back shoulder.
Just a little bit. He recognized that fastball over the middle of the plate and looked like he tried to lift it out of the ballpark.
Blue Jays scored a run in the first inning last night against Jake Peavy. They actually stranded the bases loaded in the first.
Peavy was talking about the one at bat and the one pitch that he could have back last night was the pitch to Encarnacion. He missed his spot and he missed up, and really it was the difference in the ball game. That long home run that we just showed you, that happened in the 3rd inning. Blue Jays wouldn't score again.
And thank goodness Aaron Sanchez was good. He was on his game and he pitched 7 strong innings, and the bullpen took it from there.
They had their opportunities. They left 10 runners on base last night.
Popped up. That'll be in the seats, out of play.
Tell you what, they had the players and the coaches around the batting cage today for the San Francisco Giants talking about Aaron Sanchez and what a stud he is and how impressive he was last night. And he did it all without a curveball.
Yeah, he didn't have his best curveball. He didn't use it much, and he still had the great fastball. Good movement, and he picked up his 3rd win.
5 walks, just 1 earned run in those 7 innings. And you and I got a chance to talk to some of the coaches and say that wasn't the best that we have seen him, but they were pretty much impressed.
They were impressed with his velocity and his movement, that's for sure. One and 2. Upstairs, it's an even count at 2-2. Now 2 outs, top of the 1st. Michael Saunders is on deck as he's been placed in the 5 spot in the lineup behind Encarnacion by John Gibbons. Tulowitzki knows Matt Cain very well. Fastball away, he got it. 91 miles an hour, best fastball of the inning, and Cain strikes out Encarnacion. The Blue Jays will leave a runner. Jay Happ at 4-0 will take them out when we come back to San Francisco. Manager of the San Francisco Giants has done a terrific job managing his 21st consecutive season in the major leagues. He's won 3 World Series here with the Giants. Right now, they, like the Blue Jays, are 17-17. Take a look at the lineup for the Giants down in the cleanup spot tonight. It's Hunter Pence. He has had some at-bats against Happ and had success. 4 for 8 with a homer, a solo home run. And then right behind him, Brandon Belt. He had that double that got lost in the lights last night. That extended his hit streak to 8 straight games. 12 for 27 with 5 extra base hits.
That was the only run they ended up scoring in last night's game. Jay Happ is off to his best start of his career, having won for the 4th time in his last 5 starts. Jay's got 4 wins. He also joins Marcus Stroman for the Blue Jays, the 2nd time in Blue Jays history that they've had 2 starters begin the season at 4-0. He has been sensational. Outstanding earned run average of 250. He has been pitching to contact. He has worked quickly, thrown a lot of strikes. And that's a good start tonight.
Jay Happ is 0-4 for his career against the San Francisco Giants, but it's a different Jay Happ they're going to see tonight. This is Denard Span, center fielder. Span was 0-3 with a walk. He was retired on a terrific play by Edwin Encarnacion in the 5th. Edwin knocked the ball down with a dive to his right, and then from his backside through the 1st, just in time to retire Span.
He momentarily dropped the ball and misplayed it, mishandled it, but still kept under control to record the out. I'll tell you, when you work quick like this, and we'll see it again tomorrow with Marcus Stroman, you work quick and you throw strikes, the defense always seems to come up with big plays for you.
2-1. Foul back. Well, it's a different Jay Happ, as we mentioned, and that was one thing that players thought about Jay Happ in the past. He was so deliberate, took so much time in between pitches that just kind of lulled the infielders to sleep.
He said he would be thinking about the hitter, and he'd be thinking about the scouting reports, and he would peer in to see the sign and wasn't real sure. Now he just trusts what he sees. He'll go right along with that catcher and let them call the game.
Isn't that interesting? We hear Marco Estrada talking about that. We hear Jay Happ talking about that. And that's, of course, what Mark Burley did for his entire career. Just execute the pitch. Just what the catcher calls.
You know, Jay is so smart, and he would pore over all the scouting reports, and he'd watch a lot of video and all that kind of stuff, and then try to incorporate that into the ball game.
Donaldson with the backhand takes his time. Strong throw, one down. Defensively, the Blue Jays set up like this tonight. Once again, Michael Saunders is in left field. Kevin Pillar misplayed a ball last night. That's something you don't see very often. It really surprised everybody, including Pillar. Jose Bautista's in right. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Encarnacion from third to first. And Russell Martin making his 25th start tonight behind the plate.
We got a chance to see Josh Donaldson handle that first play. And Donaldson made a great play last night. He had anticipation on that last play of the game. I asked him about it today, and I said, were you moving on that? He said, yeah, I was moving. I was anticipating that ball being hit to my left. There was a fly ball to center.
Kevin Pillar camps under it, and Joe Panik, the second baseman, is retired. 2 up, 2 down for Happ.
But, you know, that's what defense is. It's about anticipation. It's about anticipating the ball hit to you, and it was a tough play, and Josh made it look very easy last night to end the ball game.
It was a hot shot pulled down to third off the bat of Buster Posey. And here's Buster Posey starting tonight. He got the night off yesterday. He's been catching a lot of long games, long innings. So here's Bochy gave him last night off.
Saturday, he caught all 13 innings. Caught 181 pitches from the Giant pitchers. And they want to keep this guy fresh.
Inside, and Happ quickly ahead, 0-2. Jay Happ, we mentioned he has lost all 4 of his starts against the Giants. 0-2 pitch inside. He started against Brad Penny, Madison Bumgarner, Matt Cain, who threw a perfect game against him, and Tim Lincecum. Hang with him. There's strike 3. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, with that very pronounced strike 3 call. Buster Posey caught looking. Jay Happ threw the first.
San Francisco. Last night, the Blue Jays had a new setup man, and that was Gavin Floyd. And Gavin Floyd did a terrific job. He told me that it was the first time in his career that he's pitched on back-to-back nights. So obviously he's unavailable tonight. But as far as adapting to his new role in the bullpen, Floyd told me when it comes to being on the mound, pitching is just pitching. The difference for him is what he does between outings. A lot of prep work, a lot of routine that goes into being a starter that no longer applies when you're in the bullpen. For example, tonight, he'll be sitting not available because he's pitched in back-to-back days. John Gibbons says he really loves Gavin Floyd in that role. However, tonight you'll see guys like Joe Biagini or possibly Jesse Chavez if they are in a situation where they need a setup man. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Gavin Floyd retired Matt Duffy, Brandon Belt, and Hunter Pence, middle of the order. He did a good job. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th.
Pete Walker was talking about him today, saying he's going to be good in that 8th inning. He throws hard enough. He's got a very good breaking ball that can get him out of problems if he falls in that, and you can get hitters out with a good curveball. So we will see. Right now, John Gibbons just searching for anybody who can handle that 8th inning spot.
That's what managers will do, and people want to know, pitchers especially, what's my role? Well, you get more outs, you're going to have a bigger role.
Yeah, your role keeps growing the better you play, right?
Michael Sanders had the first RBI in the game last night at a first inning single to right. Pulls that ball off the fence down the right side.
This should be a good matchup, I think, for Michael Saunders. Matt Cain throws a lot of fastballs. He doesn't really sink the ball or cut it. It's pretty straight. Boy, he had a couple of good swings right there.
Pitches out over the plate about belt high. It had a good hack and fouled it back. That's when you step out of the box and say, ooh, throw me that one again.
Yeah, you're just begging. Please throw it there again, and I'm not going to miss it.
Been a good run for Michael Saunders. Off speed pitch, he strikes out. Second strikeout for Matt Cain.
2 in a row. He struck out Encarnacion to finish the first with a fastball. That time he pulls the string just a little bit. Like it might have been an off speed pitch, a changeup. And Michael was out in front of it.
Troy Tulowitzki. He's hit well against Matt Cain. He takes a pitch down and away for a ball. A .320 average against the Giants. Starter with 11 extra base hits and 10 RBIs. Still trying to get his timing at the plate.
Yeah, and maybe the familiar surroundings will help him out. He had a really good round of batting practice today. Launched a lot of balls into the seats, but that's not what we were looking for. We were looking for the contact and what the bat path was doing. They're flattening his bat just a little bit more. You can see that. They're trying to take the loop out of that swing where he's popped up a lot of baseballs.
Tulowitzki against the Giants for his career has hit .296. He got 18 career home runs against San Francisco. Swing and a drive deep to left. Garrett Parker back at the wall, at the track. Make it 19. There's a couple of happy guys right there.
Yes, sir. You know, even though you've been in the league for a long time, like Troy Tulowitzki has, when you go through slumps like that, you put the work in. Brooke Jacoby was telling me today that he has put the work in the batting cage. They've tried different things. The most notable, flattening the bat just a little bit more. And if you do that, your swing becomes a little bit shorter. You go through the baseball instead of underneath it. Well, like I said, he was putting on a nice show in batting practice, and he's off to a good start tonight.
Homer number 6 for Tulowitzki, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. That's his 19th career home run against San Francisco. His 12th extra base hit against Matt Cain.
Boy, he loaded up that time and stayed back on that back foot. And the bat came roaring through the strike zone.
Russell Martin takes one up and in.
One more time. Watch this. Liftoff.
That was a great sound for Troy Tulowitzki, and it's been a battle for him. He's worked hard and just continues to play great defense and never carries his batting problems with him out on the field. Home run number 199 for his career. Martin takes it downstairs. It's 2-2.
One more time. You see it get back there. You got that weight back, recognize the pitch, And you know that bench, they're pulling for Tulowitzki. He's one of the favorites on the team.
Everybody knows how his is really worn on him. Russell Martin strikes out. That's 3 strikeouts for Kane.
To his credit, and when you talk to the coaches, they say he doesn't bring his problems at the plate out on the field. He can't, because he plays such an important position at shortstop. You got to figure it's just a matter of time before he starts to get that bat going.
2 outs for the second baseman, Ryan Cowens. Cowens takes one upstairs. Of course, we're in National League Park, and Jay Happ is on deck. Ryan Cowens rips one into center. That's going to get past Span and go all the way to the wall. Cowens is going to stop at second as Span cut it off in the warning track area and then makes it back in. A 2-out double for Ryan Cowens.
That's called Triples Alley up in right center field. And you can see why, because it's so expansive. Cowens stays back on that off-speed pitch and drills that into right center field. The grass slowed it down, or this ball is to the wall, and he would be standing on third base. Span's hustling over there, and watch how the grass just chews it up. He's able to cut it off and hold him to a double. That's a big at bat, because it gets the pitcher to the plate. Kane wanted to end the inning by getting Cowens and having Jay Happ lead off next inning, but now he's got to face him with a runner in scoring position.
Happ, for his career, those are his numbers. He has 16 hits and 179 at bats. Got a pair of doubles to go along with that 1 home run.
And I asked him about that. I said, "Do you have a home run?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I get, "Who was it against?" And you know he knew. Josh Colementor of Arizona. He didn't have to reach far back into his memory banks. He knew it right away.
Jay got his first base hit against Javier Vasquez of the Atlanta Braves back in 2009. Got a single in the top of the 5th. Checked his swing, and Adam Amari down to third, said he went too far, so Matt Cain strikes out the side, but he gives up a couple of hits, including a big home run for Troy Tulowitzki, his 6th of the season, much to the delight of the Blue Jays bench.
Us your Blue Jays spirit. Enter the TD Comfort Zone contest by posting a video or photo of you, tagging at Blue Jays and including hashtag TD Tuesday on Twitter or Instagram for a chance to win. For full contest details and rules, visit BlueJays.com/Comfort Zone. Little beard action going on out there, Buck.
Absolutely some beard action, and Troy Tulowitzki had to home run swing working in his first at bat tonight, in which he has given Jay Happ a 1-0 lead. Okay, Jay, there's your run.
Yeah, go get them. Tell you, the Giants have been really struggling to score.
They scored a run last night in the 6th. That snapped a string of 14 consecutive scoreless innings. They just haven't been able to put too many runs together.
And even that run last night I thought was a bit of a gift.
Yeah, that was the ball that Michael Saunders lost in the lights in left field. Went for a double.
And this is the guy who drove in the run with the ground out.
Hunter Pence, the right fielder, hitting cleanup tonight against the lefty. Pence has 25 RBIs.
Tell you got to get ahead of this guy because he's one of the best when he is ahead at hitting. And that time Jay Happ finishes him off with an off-speed pitch. He hits .348 when he is ahead in the count. So you got to get ahead of him. And Jay Happ with an outstanding changeup to put him away.
Again, Jay Happ has a totally different arsenal of pitches than the Giants saw last time they faced him.
Well, he's cutting the ball a little bit more. He can sink it. You'll still see his four-seam fastball. He used to throw that exclusively as a fastball. There were a lot of pitches that were fouled off. Now he can sink it and cut it, and instead of those balls fouling and going into the stands, raising that pitch count, they're put in play now.
Happ has never been one to be considered a ground ball pitcher, but he's got 9 double plays turned behind him. There's a good curveball. More depth on that breaking ball than just 78 miles an hour. Pulled foul into the seats. Just a loud foul off the bat of Brandon Belt. Blue Jays have 2 starters that are undefeated at 4-0. Jay Happ and Marcus Stroman. That's a pretty good pitch. Didn't get to go. There are only 6 starters in the American League that are still undefeated. Happ and Stroman, and then Hamels, Latos, Sale, and Tomlin. Stroman will go tomorrow against Madison Bumgarner. Goins from the outfield grass, throws to first.
Well, what we have seen from Jay Happ this year didn't just start this year. Let's go all the way back to his last 16 starts. This started last season. Check out that earned run average, under 2. Opponent's batting average is just .222. And the team is 12-4. He has pitched deep into the ball game. He has thrown quality strikes. He has piled up the innings. He might not strike out a lot of guys, but he'll stick around for a long time.
And he'll take 1 pitch out every day of the week. Jay Happ has a very quick inning. 6 up, 6 down so far for Jay Happ. It's a 1-0 Blue Jays lead.
on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball. It even works in the middle of the sea. Maybe.
I'm sure it does, Barry. We're in the San Francisco Bay, and they're having a good night out sailing. A little cool here as the sun's beginning to settle. 14 degrees, and this is the leadoff man, Kevin Pillar, batting for a second time. Takes one for a strike. Blue Jays struck out 3 times in the second inning. That's the 19th time they've had a 3-strikeout inning on offense. And leads the majors.
That is hard to believe. All the strikeouts that the Jays have come up with this year. I think a lot of it is just changing your approach once you get the 2 strikes.
Pillar hits it to center, but Span was right there and makes the catch. Pat, you mentioned it last night. The Blue Jays have really caught a break. They missed Jeff Samardzija and Johnny Cueto, 2 best pitchers for the Giants, and of course we're going to see another good one tomorrow in Madison Bumgarner. But Peavy and Kane have been struggling. There's Samardzija. And Peavy last night went 5 innings. He's on the right. He threw 112 pitches in 5 innings.
I'll tell you, he's a gamer and a teammate. I was talking to Billy Hayes. That's who was in that, the other guy in that picture. He's the first base coach. He said after the game, Jake Peavy was just standing in front of his locker, feeling dejected that he had let his team down, that he said, I wish I could have had that 1 pitch back that I had to Encarnacion.
Josh Donaldson hits it high to right. Hunter Pence right in front of the fence makes the catch. Donaldson gave it a ride.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Beautiful shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, not far from this ballpark. Lots of fans here from Canada, of course, and of course lots of Jose Bautista fans. They're all sporting the beards. Want to see their hero come true for them. Bautista did a good job of getting on base last night. He had a single and walked twice.
Teams have been really pounding Jose with fastballs this month. Really pounding him. Been chasing some balls off the plate. They've stayed away from him for the most part. They're going to go back away again. There's a fastball.
Popped up, playable. Third baseman Matt Duffy comes down, makes the catch in foul territory. Matt Payne has a quick inning in the top of the third. 3 up, 3 down.
You're catching the game while in the U.S. like so many are here at AT&T Park. You can now share all your experiences as they happen with friends and family back home. With Roam Like Home from Rogers, you can use your phone exactly as you do at home, starting at $5 a day in the U.S. Go to rogers.com/roamlikehome for more details. Buck?
Thank you very much. And you can bet those folks are probably on their Roam Like Home plan. They've got the Bautista beard working, having some of the fine food that they serve here in this beautiful ballpark. And they're texting their friends, hey, you see us on TV?
Yes, we do. I like the beards.
This is the left fielder, Jared Parker. As Pat mentioned, he was just called up yesterday. Got a pinch hit appearance in last night's game. He had quite a debut last year, coming up for the first time with the Giants. He had 3 home runs in a game against Oakland. First Giant rookie to have a 3-homer game. September 28th over in Odako Coliseum.
He burst on the scene, didn't he, last year?
Hit 6 home runs in 49 at-bats.
And he became the first Giant player with at least 6 home runs in his first 14 games since you-know-who, Willie McCovey, back in 1959. He was so famous and popular, they named a cove after him.
Willie McCovey, Stretch McCovey, he came up and played for the Giants and won Rookie of the Year, and that's a statue depicting that great swing, powerful hitter. Just beyond McCovey's cove.
One of 4 players to hit a home run in 4 different decades.
Jay Happ with another strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Happ so far.
Right there, that last pitch we saw is why Jay Happ has been so successful. Look at the movement of that ball, where it is. It's down and gets underneath the bat. Last year, well, the last time he was with the Blue Jays, he couldn't do that. That ball would have been straight. It might have been hit, but that time it sunk right underneath the bat.
Shelby Tomlinson drops down a bunt. That's the first hit. And I got to tell you, I watched Tomlinson do that all afternoon during batting practice. He bunted once each round and bunted right down that third baseline. He drops down a beauty for the first hit for the Giants.
You know, and normally a right-handed batter is not going to do that against a left-handed pitcher. They finally get a lefty out on that mound, and they're going to take their chances with him. But that's just a perfectly executed drag bunt for a hit. Get the bat out in front, get it on top of the strike zone, drop it down. He's got plenty of speed to beat it out.
Hit and run is on. Here's the throw from Martin. It is in time. Matt Cain swung right through it, and Russell Martin threw a strike to second. So that leadoff base runner is erased on a strong throw by Martin. 4th base runner he's caught this season.
Tomlinson is 3 for 3 in stolen bases, but I got to believe somebody missed a sign right there. Normally, you're not going to try and steal with the pitcher up. And Russell Martin going at 27% this season, guns down Tomlinson.
The Giants have now been caught 11 times. And they have 19 stolen bases, so their percentage is unacceptable. And this is a strong throw by Martin and a quick tag by Tulowitzki. Shattered bat, and Cain barely gets out of the batter's box. Donaldson throws to first, and a good inning for Jay Happ. Got a strikeout and a great throw from Russell Martin.
Away contest is now on, or maybe it's the paddle away contest. Enter for your chance to cheer on the Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to bluejays.com/WestJet Flyaway to enter. That's a little cold in there if you fall in the water tonight, Buck.
Well, I think there's going to be a shark in the water here just shortly. That is McCovey's Cove, and that's where they have their race. They had a little seal on the third one. There were actually 3 of those stand-up surfboards. A lot going on in this ballpark, and it is a great destination. If you have a wish list and want to do ballparks and put them on your bucket list, this has got to be one of the stops.
Right here. And then from here, you can go north to Seattle, because Seattle is, I think, just as spectacular as this ballpark.
The only difference in Seattle, you don't have the same view, of course. No. You don't get to see Puget Sound, but here you can see the San Francisco Bay, and it's just a perfect setting for baseball. We move to the 4th inning, 1-0 Blue Jays. That doesn't even sound right, does it? 1-0 Blue Jays. Last year it was 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, one's a start.
One's a start.
It's a good start.
And the breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-2 to Edwin Encarnacion. He struck out on a fastball away. Matt Cain ran that fastball away from him back in the first. Called strike 3.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Michael Saunders was a strikeout victim to start the second. Matt Cain has 5 strikeouts.
I'll tell you what, his breaking ball's pretty sharp tonight, and it's a late breaking pitch. That's not the Matt Cain that we have seen this year.
There's a liner into center off the bat of Michael Saunders.
Thought that would be a good matchup. Michael Saunders versus Matt Cain. He likes to use his fastball. Looks pretty straight, and Saunders can turn around a fastball. They tried to go up, and that time against him, he stayed on top of it. I like him hitting in the 5th hole.
Boy, I do too. I think that's a great spot for him. It balances out the right-handed bats down in his part of the batting order. Here is the man responsible for the only run of the ball game. Troy Tulowitzki homered with 1 out in the second. We mentioned Tulowitzki hits well against Matt Cain. That was his 6th career home run against Cain, the most he's hit against one pitcher in his career.
That was a pretty swing, too. I'll tell you, there wasn't a lot of wasted motion in that swing. He saw the ball and just let it go. One of the things that they're trying to get him to do also, you saw him take that last pitch where he was out on his front foot and the bat started coming around. They want to get him, when he takes a pitch, to keep his hands up like he's ready to attack the ball and not start leaking out, they call it, towards the pitcher. Stay back. That time his hands were back just a little bit better. You and I talk about that all the time. That was a good take. Good take. He's still in hitting position. His weight's still back.
Yeah, you want to separate your foot and your hands. Your foot goes forward, your hands go back, and then you're ready to swing it.
And then you stay there. You don't start leaking out towards the front.
Fastball ran back over the outside corner. 3-1. Matt Cain hasn't won since last July. He hasn't won in his last 13 starts. Cain's made some pretty good pitches tonight. He struck out Encarnacion twice already tonight. Russell Martin has gone down swinging so far. Full count. Saunders at first with 1 out.
Stay aggressive here. Start that runner if you have to.
There he goes. Strike 3 call. Throw to second from Posey. Strike him out. Throw him out. Tulowitzki didn't agree with Tom Hallion's call, but Buster Posey with a strong, accurate throw. Good throw from Posey. Michael Saunders cut down to end the inning.
Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch is now available. Get yours today at jshop.ca. Buck.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. Beautiful AT&T ballpark. Lots of places for the fans to stop and have some refreshments and get something to eat. And you can walk all around this stadium. I think that's one of the real cool aspects of it. Looks like they're getting ready to make their salad out there. A little vegetable garden growing in the outfield.
I don't know exactly what they have, but I've heard they have exotic foods here that they sell.
Can't you smell the garlic fries?
Actually, no.
They have great garlic fries here. Lots of good food.
They come out and support their team here, don't they?
Terrific ballpark, great destination, and it's close to downtown.
427 consecutive sellouts.
Denard Span with a 1-1 count. The leadoff man grounded out to third base, his first time up. Look out. Boy, these fans are so close to the action. Now the ballparks have been encouraged to extend that screen down past the dugouts, but you can see the backstop stops well short of it, just behind the on-deck circles. Fans want to be close to the action, but at the same time, you really got to pay attention.
Yeah, they don't want to look through screens, but I think I wouldn't want to have a screen in front of me if I'm going to be sitting that close.
And you played.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting how when you see a ball hit into the dugout, what do the players do?
Run and hide.
They run and hide. And it goes into the stands. Everybody dives for it.
I like all the new ballparks. They have the screenage in front of the dugouts. Before, you didn't have that, and you might not be paying attention. You'd be sitting on the bench talking and about certain things, and all of a sudden that ball comes screaming in there. It's scary.
Well, you remember in Yankee Stadium, Don Zimmer got hit in the head, and that's why they put the screen up in front of Yankee Stadium. Matt Keough also got hit while sitting on the bench, I believe in St. Louis. And they put the screens up there, but unfortunately it didn't protect them. They didn't have it then. But you remember all the dugouts, you just walk right out of the dugout.
Yeah.
Everything was a step, and you just walk out, and now they've got all the protective screens.
So the players have got to come up to the screen to watch the ball game. They don't sit back on the bench anymore.
3-2. There's a leadoff walk. Well, we had mentioned in the open how well the Blue Jays starters have pitched, and you could see they got off to a good start, but they have been out of sight in May.
They certainly have. An ERA of 3.81. I think anybody would take that for a whole month like the Blue Jays did. Well, they topped that by 2 runs in the month of May, a batting average under 200. They're really not walking people, and they're working quickly and throwing strikes. We talked about it in the opening, how this team is very diversified. They've got different types of strike throwers. But that's the important thing. That's the one thing that Pete Walker stressed about this team in spring training is I've got a lot of guys in that starting rotation who can throw strikes. And I think it starts with being good athletes, and every one of them are good athletes.
That's a little looper. Michael Saunders got a good break and drops it. Trying to get the force at second, and they do. Oh, good for Michael Saunders. He stayed with it. Never dropped his head, and they're able to force Denard Span at second.
You know, and fortunately for the Blue Jays, the ball ricocheted off of Saunders and didn't go very far. The runner, Denard Span, went halfway, was anticipating that ball being caught, and then started going back to first base. And luckily for the Jays, the ball didn't go very far. Just looped right off the end of the bat by Panic Saunders, who's had a tough time out there the first 2 nights here. Scrambles to his feet and throws a strike to second base to get the lead runner.
Ryan Goins did a terrific job of stretching like a first baseman to record the out. Blue Jays outfielders have had an adventure here.
Yes, they have.
Saunders had 2 balls last night. Pilar got turned around on a double to center. It's a tricky outfield and a lot of things going on. Saunders has dealt with the lights. Goins behind second, flips to Tulowitzki. What a pretty double play. How about a turnaround for Jay Happ, a leadoff walk? They get the force out and the double play. 1-0 in San Francisco. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
We mentioned Jay Happ. He's not known as a sinker ball pitcher, but he gets a lot of ground ball outs. This is the 10th double play the Blue Jays have turned behind Jay Happ.
And the 33rd on the season for the Jays. Pretty. From Goins to Tulowitzki, who catches it in one motion, tags the bag, and finishes off the play. The leader in the American League is Texas with 49. Then Detroit. And with that double play, Blue Jays are now 4th in the American League in turning double plays.
Russell Martin, he struck out in the 2nd inning. He shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Ball on the strike to the Blue Jays catcher. Russell, of course, began his career with the Dodgers. Ground ball right to Tomlinson.
He also spent some time with Pittsburgh, so he had 37 at-bats against Matt Cain, knew all about him. Not this time.
Brian Goins had a base hit his first time up. Hit a double to the alley in right center. A 2-out double. He was stranded as Jay Happ struck out. We made the point last night the Blue Jays were playing outdoors for the first time in 16 games. They had played nothing but indoor baseball over that stretch. I think to a man they're thrilled to be outdoors. Duffy's got a little room over there on the warning track and makes the catch. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Twins have really gotten off to a poor start. They have made all kinds of roster moves just trying to change the mix there in Minnesota. They fall to 8-24 with that loss. They lost 6 straight now.
Hard to believe. I thought they would sneak up on some people. They've got some nice young players coming up through their farm system. Sano and Buxton, who's already been sent back down.
Atlanta to start of play tonight had 7 wins. That's the fewest in the majors, and then the Twins right there with 8.
Wonder what Molly's thinking right now.
Why did I do this? How about the Philadelphia Phillies? They're still 4 games over 500. They're 18-14, 2.5 games back of the front-running New York Mets. Everybody thought the Phillies were going to be a disaster, but they're getting some real good pitching.
That has been the surprise division, I think, so far in baseball. Every team but Atlanta over 500.
Yeah. Miami 17-14. They're in 4th place, and Atlanta is 7-23 at the start of play tonight. Jay Happ struck out his first time up. We mentioned Happ opposed Matt Cain in that start when Cain threw a perfect game. June 13th, 2012. Pops this one up. Panic, the second baseman on the outfield grass, makes the catch. Matt Cain has turned his fortunes around. Held the Blue Jays to a run on 4 hits. Telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. You don't think there's a lot of things going on in California? Come to a ballpark, pull your boat up next door, barbecue a couple burgers, have a little wine, perfect setup.
That looked like he was barbecuing over water.
Yeah, he's on a boat.
That's on a boat?
Yeah, back of that sailboat.
Wow. You guys from California.
Oh, yeah.
You got it all.
We got it figured out. Hunter Pence, the cleanup man, he struck out on the changeup his first time up. He goes after the first pitch. Nice play by Edwin. One out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Seattle leading the AL West 19-13 at the start of play tonight. They won 7 of their last 10 games. Interesting number for Seattle. They're 6-7 at home.
6-7 at home. Saw King Felix won last night to become the all-time winningest pitcher in Seattle Mariners history.
Past Jamie Moyer. Jamie pitched forever, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Felix Hernandez, is he 30 yet?
I don't think he is. Brandon Belt grounded out to the second baseman. See, it is a boat. Right in the back of the boat, they're grilling. You better be careful with that fire.
I was going to say that fire's getting kind of hot, isn't it?
You got to buy better hamburgers.
Put some water on that, cool that thing down.
Belt strikes out on the breaking ball, down and away. That's 4 strikeouts for Jay Happ. Boy, he is in a groove. Happ has thrown 12, 11, 10, and 11 pitches through the first 4 innings.
And when you get the 2 strikes, left-handed pitcher on the left-handed batter, let's try and expand the strike zone just a little bit, and that's exactly what Happ does. Bounces that breaking ball. Good job by Martin to smother it and record the out. Brandon Belt's been a hot hitter.
8-game hit streak on the line. Matt Duffy, the third baseman. Inside corner. Boy, Jay is pitching with so much confidence. You see how quickly he gets the ball. Toes the rubber, looks for the sign. He's all about filling up that strike zone.
And he's making quality pitches. One on the outside corner, then that one on the inside corner. Tries to go down. Now the next thing should be up, right at the top of the strike zone.
It's fun to catch a guy like this when he's in a groove. You can throw any finger down. You know he's going to make a good pitch. There's another good pitch. Little comebacker. Jay Happ, 3 up, 3 down. This time just 9 pitches for Happ. He's mowing down the Giants.
Anywhere. Download the Sportsnet app and stay up to speed with the live pitch tracker, in-depth stats, and exclusive video highlights. Plus, live stream on the go. Download for free today. Hey, Tab, you can even barbecue on a boat and watch the Jays game on the app.
Now that sounds like a lot of fun. That's right up my alley. Boating, eating, and watching baseball.
That is a great scene, isn't it? There's a broad boardwalk out beyond the right field fence. People walk around this ballpark, and it's quite a setting. Leadoff man is Kevin Pillar. He's 0 for 2, couple of flyouts so far. Goes after the first pitch and bounces it to third. Duffy has it. 1 down.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Shot of Alcatraz sitting out in the middle of San Francisco Bay. That's the Transamerica building with the high pointy roof on it, and San Francisco is a gorgeous city. Josh Donaldson, he singled to left his first time up. He has one of the 4 Blue Jay hits. Rolls this one towards short. 2 ground ball outs here in the 6th.
Tell you what, the way that Matt Cain is throwing, how is this guy winless this season?
He's winless since last July.
Yeah, not just this year.
There's the iconic streetcar that they have here at the ballpark, and Ghirardelli Chocolate, of course. There's a Ghirardelli Square where they have their retail store. And so many places to see when you visit San Francisco. Bautista jumps on that pitch and hooks it down the left field line. That's foul. You see that streetcar? Jake Peavy's got one of those at his ranch in Alabama.
I read something about that. What's the story behind that?
He bought a streetcar because they used him in the parade when they celebrated the World Series. He's also got a duck boat from Boston.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, he's something else. He's got a big farm, and he's got that streetcar, copy of a streetcar, and he's got a duck boat because when they won in Boston, they
right.
did the parades on a duck boat. Oh, these ball players, huh?
Exotic toys.
1-1 pitch to Bautista, pulled on the ground. Long throw in time. Matt Cain is breezing through the Blue Jays lineup. 3 ground ball outs on just 6 pitches in the 6th. Day baseball tomorrow, and if you like pitching, you want to tune in and watch this game. This will be the 3rd game of this series. Marcus Stroman to go to the mound for the Blue Jays. He's 4-0. against Madison Bumgarner of the San Francisco Giants. He's 4-2, and these two guys, they compete. Another great example of why baseball appeals to so many. You can have a big, strong Madison Bumgarner, and he could be opposed by 5'8" Marcus Stroman, and it'll be mano a mano tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, you put them on the baseball field, and they're even. The talent. Tell you what, when you face the San Francisco Giants, chances are you're going to be running into some good pitching. I mean, that's why they have won 3 World Championships over the last 6 years, 5 years, 10, 12, and 14.
Yep, 10, 12, and 14. Bruce Bochy won 3 World Series in a span of 5 years. He'll tell you it was all about pitching, and they have another good pitching staff. Bochy, a catcher in his playing days, began his playing career with the Houston Astros.
Played against him in the minor leagues. He's a pretty good player. And the rumors are that Tim Lincecum might be pitching for San Francisco soon.
Lincecum, of course, had such a great career for the Giants, and then he suffered an injury. He's healthy again. He had hip problems, and he got his hip fixed, and now he's been auditioning for scouts. Bruce Bochy knows all about him. All he needs to hear is, hey, Timmy's healthy. And he'll take him.
He says he'll take him. But he also says it's Lincecum's decision what he wants to do. If they do sign him, they're saying he'd be in the bullpen.
He'd probably start in the bullpen and be a guy they could utilize, of course. Former Cy Young Award winner and a great iconic player here in San Francisco. They call him the Freak.
The Freak. And he was a freak those 2 years he won the Cy Young here.
Jared Parker making his first start of the season for San Francisco. He struck out against Happ in the 3rd. Big, powerful guy. He's got a big home run stroke, that's for sure. He's a little different than most of their left-handed hitters.
Yeah, a lot of times they're left-handed hitters. You watch them, and they've got inside-out types of swings where they keep their hands inside the ball and they spray the ball the other way. Parker's a guy who likes to get the ball out in front and hook the ball to right field.
He'll take a walk. It's a leadoff walk here in the 6th. Second walk issued by Happ. He walked an odd span to start the 4th inning. They were able to force out Span on that ball that got away from Michael Saunders and then got a double play off the bat of Buster Posey to end the inning. This is Kelby Tomlinson. He had a bunt single his first time up. Now he has a base hit to right. Parker's going to stop with Bautista in right. So Tomlinson getting the start. Replacing Brandon Crawford is 2 for 2.
A walk to Parker, and then this, shooting the ball the other way. This is by design, trying to hit that hole on the right side, and it works to perfection. He is now 2 for 2. Now everybody in the ballpark knows what's coming now. You got the pitcher coming up, and a bunt situation.
Matt Cain at the plate. Cain grounded out his first time up. Encarnacion charging from first, and Cain pops it straight back to the screen. That's where you want that pitch up.
That's right. First pitch up. It's tough to get that ball down on the ground. Throw that first ball, 4-seam fastball right at the top of the strike zone. Josh Donaldson has already flashed the sign what they're going to do defensively.
They got a shot at third
and first.
Back to first. Goins does a nice job of digging it out. Jay Happ did a good job to force Parker at third base, and then the return throw back to first was in the dirt, and Goins did a good job to dig it out of the dirt.
Boy, that had double play written all over it. Another high fastball, and Cain hits it right back to the mound. Watch Donaldson read it, get back to third base, The throw from Happ is right on line. With the throw across the diamond, short hops Goins, so he's safe at first base. But what a play by Goins to pick that ball. That ball gets by him. That's probably a run and a runner at second, maybe even third base.
Yeah, Donaldson, he runs well. He would have scored if that ball got past Goins. One out now. Back to the top of the order. Denard Span. Double play in order. Happ got a double play in the fourth. It was the 10th double play the Blue Jays have turned with Happ on the mound. Martin Perez of Texas has had 13 double plays turned behind him, and Happ is second. R.A. Dickey's third with 9, and John Neese of Pittsburgh has 8. That leads the majors. Ground ball. Run for second, back to first. There it is. Double play number 11. Jay Happ erases the base runners with his second double play of the night. It's still a 1-0 game.
Don't forget, Stanley Cup playoffs continue tomorrow night, and we've got a Game 7 for you. Blues, Stars, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. And guys, a fantastic Game 6 took place tonight with the Penguins upsetting and beating the Washington Capitals in overtime.
Very good, Barry. That's great news. Another great hockey game. And you see that ball right there? That's in the scoreboard here at AT&T Park. That's called the Gotham Club. And I tell you what, even if you don't like baseball, you got to come here and hang out at the ballpark. There are a lot of places to hang out. That's where that scoreboard bar is.
What a cool place to watch a ball game. You got your TVs, you got your food, your drinks.
McCovey's Cove is beyond the glass there. All sorts of nooks and crannies here. Virgin American Loft.
There are some great ballparks now, aren't there?
Oh, man. They've done a great job to make it fan friendly.
We are heading to one after this series, too. Heading down to Texas.
Globe Life Park in Arlington. How about Matt Cain? Boy, he has struggled. He has pitched well, and the Blue Jay hitters have to be winning. This is the same Matt Cain. It hasn't won since last July.
Yeah, and his ERA is almost 8 this year. His breaking ball has been outstanding. There's another one right there. It's been late breaking, sharp. He's had a good combination with his fastball and his breaking ball.
Right off the end of the bat. Easy play for Cain. Eight straight retired by Matt Cain. Four straight ground ball outs by Kane as he's had the Blue Jays hit that ball off the end of the bat.
You know, Bruce Bochy has been talking about Matt Cain, and he's also been talking about Jake Peavy. He said, look, these guys have done it before in the past, and they're our guys. We're going to stick with them, and sooner or later they're going to come out of it. Well, maybe tonight is Matt Cain's coming out party for this season.
Even Jake Peavy had some positive things to say after his game last night. He threw 112 pitches in 5 innings, but made the mistake to Encarnacion. They have had a track record, and that's why you kind of stick with them.
That's right. That's what he meant. He's going to stick with them, and if they can get those 2 guys going, combined with the other 3, Samardzija and Cueto and Baumgartner, they're going to be around there all year long. They're 17-17, but they're tied for first place in the National League West.
Dodgers are 16-16 at the start of play. Arizona's being a big disappointment with all the acquisitions they made in the offseason. Michael Saunders drills this to the alley in right center. Pence is not going to cut it off. It's all the way to Triple's alley. Here goes Saunders around second. He's headed for third, and Michael Saunders, his second hit of the night, is his first triple of the season.
You know, teams take their right fielder and shade them into that gap in right center field for that purpose right there, because if it gets between the outfielders in right center field, anybody with any kind of speed is going to make it to third base easily. This ball is hit sharply into right center field, and even though Pence was shading him into the gap, he can't run this ball down. He tries to knock it down. He does, but by the time he recovers and gets it back into the infield, Michael Saunders is standing at third base. It's a long way in right center field.
It's his 15th career triple. Troy Tulowitzki takes a breaking ball for a strike. The Dodgers infield is in halfway. 1-0 ball game. Top of the 7th.
Boy, this is where you got to let it go right here. You can't think too much. See it and get it into the outfield any way you can.
He threw that breaking ball right at Tulowitzki, trying to get the inside corner. Ball and a strike, 1 out. Big run down there at third.
And you got to figure that Matt Cain is just going to keep throwing breaking balls. There's some bullpen action. Derek Law and Javier Lopez. You've got 1 out. You got first base open. You got to figure he's going to keep throwing them breaking balls.
Throw a breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Posey. Bill Hayes has talked about Posey and his ability to block balls, and if he were to have a weakness behind the plate, that would be the one thing. He said from time to time, because he was an infielder, he wants to grab it with his glove and not block it. Well, certainly this is a time where you got to block the balls in the dirt.
It says lead with your hands. Get that ball, or excuse me, that glove down in the dirt.
Tulowitzki hits it into center. Saunders is back, tagging up. Here comes Spahn. Here's the throw to the plate. Tulowitzki with a sac fly has driven in both runs for the Blue Jays tonight as Michael Saunders scores. Saunders with the triple, cashed in by Tulowitzki.
He kept throwing them breaking balls, and Tulo got just enough of it to get it into the outfield. That's what's so tough about a center fielder trying to make the throw to home. You got to navigate that ball around that pitcher's mound. Bernard Span just didn't have enough arm to get it over the mound, and Saunders scores the second run of the night for the Blue Jays.
Russell Martin, the catcher. Up and away for ball 1. Kane has thrown 90 pitches now.
He hasn't struck out a batter since the 4th inning. He was red hot through those first 4 innings.
Well, that's a good pitch. Right on the outside corner. He had 6 strikeouts through 4 innings and then went to the ground balls.
That has helped him stay around. He has pitched a heck of a game. J Happ's been just a little bit better.
Well, the Blue Jays rotation has been just a little bit better than everybody. They have really done a great job. Last night Sanchez goes 7. Happ has pitched 6 complete, shutting out the Giants on 2 hits. Martin strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Kane, but the Blue Jays behind Troy Tulowitzki with 2 RBIs has a 2-0 lead. The Angels have lost 3 in a row. They trail the Cardinals, as Jamie mentioned, 6-0, and nothing's working for the Angels.
They've had too many injuries. They got some bad news the other day with Andrelton Simmons having to have surgery on his thumb for an injury. They had to go out and pick up Brendan Ryan to play some third base. Their starting pitching staff has been decimated with injuries. Yeah.
Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. J Happ with a terrific outing. 2 hits, both by the same batter. Kelby Tomlinson has a bunt single and a single to right. That's it. 2, 3, and 4 for the Giants here in the 7th. Joe Panik to lead things off. Line drive into center. That'll drop for a base hit. J Happ has really come into his own as he has come back here with the Blue Jays.
You mentioned that he's a different pitcher than the last time the Giants saw him. Look what he has done with his earned run average since 2011. It was at 5.3, and every year it goes down. He's just maturing as a pitcher. He is learning how to pitch. He says he can control his body just a little bit more. And when you can control your body, you can control the strike zone. He can throw quality pitches now. I think it's a classic example, Buck, of a pitcher, especially a left-handed pitcher who's been in the big leagues now for a few years, becoming a late bloomer, understanding how to succeed.
Chop toward third. Donaldson will let it roll foul when it does. Another thing I think goes into it is the financial security. J Happ has a very good 3-year contract. You know, oftentimes you get in the middle of your career and you haven't had that good multi-year contract, and you're thinking, I have to audition every time I go to the mound. Well, that's not the case with Jay anymore.
Some people, it becomes an albatross around their neck that they feel like they have to pitch up to that contract. Other people feel the security of that, knowing that they can just go out there and perform. And obviously, Jay, it has helped him because he looks like a different pitcher.
He's a terrific young man, and he really takes a lot of pride in his work. And he's reaping the benefits of it now. Buster Posey lifts it into shallow center. Goins got turned around a little bit. Oh, what a catch. Ryan Goins just couldn't get his feet working, it looked like. He was stumbling back toward the outfield, and he just couldn't get turned around.
You talk to a lot of players who play in San Francisco, and what's the one thing they say?
Wind.
The wind. And I think that's what happened right here with Ryan Goins. The wind might have got a hold of that thing, and you're right, he stumbled briefly, but then recovered and was able to record the out.
Now, of course, the old ballpark, Candlestick Park, was really a bad place for wind. You'll remember some of those pop-ups that started over at third base would end up over at first base.
I remember my hat fell off. I was playing second base, and it blew all the way to foul territory. I had to call timeout. But I was watching Jay's uniform, Jay Happ's uniform, and it's really cracking with the wind down there.
There's a fly ball into shallow right. Goins calls for it. Bautista holds up, and Hunter Pence has retired on the pop-up.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Ryan Goins making 2 plays on pop-ups. He and Tulowitzki now communicating. Brandon Belt 0 for 2 so far. Got his 8-game hit streak on the line here. We're in the bottom of the 7th.
Belt is hot. You can see his average up to 321, 408 coming into this game since April the 22nd. And it's an interesting defense that the Blue Jays will throw out there. They will play him the pole on the infield. You can see Goins out in short right field, but the outfield shading him the other way. Really stays inside the ball and can hit the ball the other way with authority. Doesn't really get on top of it and yank the ball to right field in the air. If he does, it's going to be on the ground.
Ball and a strike, 2 outs. There's another strike. Jay Happ has thrown strikes all night long. He's thrown first pitch strikes to 17 of 23. And that puts the hitter on the defensive. There's no question about it.
And you can go to work from there. Start to expand.
And you get funny swings. When you have to swing at everything because the pitcher is constantly pitching ahead, it really makes you expand your strike zone.
Mark Burley was like that. He would work quickly and keep the pressure on you as a hitter.
Fly ball down the left side. Michael Saunders coming over near that mound. He had an adventure there last night. The mound on the field of play here in foul territory, and from time to time when you have to go into foul ground, outfielders will stumble over that mound, and you concentrate on the baseball. I tell you what, it's impossible to stay on your feet.
He was cognizant of it that time, wasn't he? He was looking for it on that pop-up down the left field line.
A ball and 2 strikes in the dirt. Nice play by Martin.
This is the play that we were talking about. You got to navigate yourself around the mound, and had a rough inning that inning. Michael got hit right on the top of the head after he stumbled on that mound down there. There's just how many teams or ballparks have that?
4.
4.
4 ballparks have their bullpens on the playing field. Shattered bat. Donaldson in short makes the catch as Happ has had another beautiful outing. 7 strong innings for Jay Happ, and he's got a 2-0 lead.
Broadcast option. It is presented by TD and will take place during our broadcast of the Blue Jays versus Tampa Bay on May the 18th. 12 unique Blue Jays experiences and packages will be up for bids. Visit bluejays.com/broadcast auction to see the full list of prizes. All funds will help Jays Care go beyond the ballpark for over 62,000 children and youth across Canada in 2016. Buck, always a fantastic day on Sportsnet when we have that auction on.
Well, it sure is, Barry, and Ivanka Osmak does a terrific job as the hostess of that broadcast auction, and we want to make sure you check that out. It's a lot of fun. A lot of great items up for bid, so make sure you check it out. 18th of May. Brian Goins doubled his first time up. Matt Cain doing a terrific job for San Francisco, but they're on the wrong side of a 2-0 game. They just haven't scored any runs, Pat. Owens hits it high in the air to right. Big part of the ballpark. Hunter Pence is there, and Owens is retired.
They have really struggled over the last 3 or 4 games to score runs. And as a pitcher, you know, your team might not be scoring you runs. You got to be perfect. And Matt Cain has almost been perfect tonight.
Troy Tulowitzki got him for a solo home run in the second. For Tulowitzki, that's the 6th home run he has hit off Matt Cain.
And speaking of perfect, I think you mentioned it earlier. When he threw his perfect game, this is the guy right here who he faced, Jay Happ.
Well, we mentioned Jay Happ is making his 5th career start against San Francisco. He is 0-4 in the 4 previous games. Trying to get a little payback tonight. He was matched up tough against starting pitchers. It was Brad Penny and Madison Bumgarner, Matt Cain in that perfect game, and then Tim Lincecum. And there's a drive to left field that's going to drop for a base hit. Jay Happ has the base hit, and the pitchers, I bet you they got a bet on the first base hit during interleague play.
I was thinking the same thing, like they might have a pool going. Who gets the first hit? Well, it's the old veteran, Jay Happ. Another little cutter. Stays right with it. And there's the cheering going on. They love it.
For Jay Happ, that's his 17th career hit. Kevin Pillar. Kevin is 0 for 3 tonight. Blue Jays with 6 hits.
I'm sure Jay Happ over there at first base has gotten his orders not to overdo it on the bases. That's the one thing that always worries me when I see pitchers running the bases. Injuries, leg injuries, trying to stretch it, overdo it just a little bit, or if they have to slide if they're not familiar with sliding.
Now it's 2-2 to Pilar. This is the longest outing of the season for Matt Cain. 7 1/3. It'd be a full count. You wouldn't think they would have Happ running here. He's looking back at Tim Leeper. Donaldson is on deck.
That's where you say if you're the coach, hey, one base at a time, right? Any single into the outfield, just take it nice and easy.
Pilar pops it up near the mound. Belt comes over from first to make the catch. So there are 2 outs. Jay Happ with a base hit. He's at first for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson has gotten a hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. The first inning single.
Came into this game 3 for his last 21. Struggling just a bit, although he's hit some balls hard over the last week or so.
Seems like he's lined out about once a game to third baseman. Swinging a drive deep to center. Span is on the run. This ball is at the track, at the wall. He makes the catch. Bernard Span stayed with it. Nearly 400 feet away in straightaway center, and he hauls it in against the fence. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 2-0 Blue Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio. The all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Let's take you back to the second inning. Troy Tulowitzki at the plate, and he gets a pitch to his liking, and doesn't this look good? Tulowitzki unloads, hits that ball into the stands in left field for his 6th home run of the season. He is able to get the home run trot out with our drive of the game. And if Tulowitzki starts swinging the bat, that's just going to make that lineup just a little bit longer for the Blue Jays. Maybe they can start doing some damage.
Good sign for Tulo. He's driven in both runs tonight in support of Jay Happ, who's been terrific. 3 hits over 7 innings.
Just 79 pitches for Happ, and he took his time after that inning, that long drive to center field by Josh Donaldson. Jay Happ was on first base. He was rounding third when the ball found itself in that glove of Denard Span. So he went in, sat down just a little bit, got a drink of water, caught his breath just a little bit. So that's why it's a little bit slower now. We'll have to watch him this inning after he made his trip around the bases.
Jay Happ pitching into the bottom of the 8th has allowed no runs on 3 hits. Matt Duffy, the third baseman. Grounded to the shortstop and grounded back to the mound. 0 for 2. Jay's done a terrific job of using the entire strike zone. In, out, up, and down. Changing speeds very effectively. And he's been efficient.
I think his cutter and his changeup have been great tonight.
We've still got a little extra on that fastball. Took a shot at that inside corner and missed.
He's had to pitch around leadoff base runners in 3 of the last 4 innings. He had a leadoff walk in the 4th, didn't score. Another leadoff walk in the 6th, did not score. A leadoff single last inning.
Tulowitzki at short, takes his time, fires a strike. Jay Happ has had a great night from the mound, and he's also contributed with the bat.
Well, first of all, the pitching side of it, he has kept the ball down. He has made outstanding pitches on the corners, using his changeup, using that cutter. He's got his share of ground ball outs. He's had 4 strikeouts. And then you put a bat in his hand, and he singles into left field just last inning. Far cry from the last time he pitched here in that perfect game. He was only around a couple of innings and gave up 8 earned runs. So a little payback.
Jared Parker hits a base hit. He's been aboard twice. He walked in the 6th. He is 1 for 2. Kelby Tomlinson, he's got 2 hits tonight. He has picked up a bunt single and a single to right. Perfect night for the shortstop.
Yeah, each one of the hits not hit very hard, but just placed perfectly. Drag bunt for hit number 1, and then with a runner at first base, shot one through the hole on the right side.
Way outside. That's the first time we've seen Happ lose a pitch.
And right away you can see him licking his fingers and rubbing up that baseball like he lost control of it.
It's a cool night. Sometimes your hands get a little slick because of that cool air. Tomlinson, the shortstop, late on that pitch and fouls it back into the catcher's mitt. Ball on the strike. Tomlinson starting in place of the regular shortstop Brandon Crawford, and he's come off the bench and has a bunt single and a single to right. Does okay in interleague play. 479 average. Ground ball. Tulowitzki will go to second, throws it away. Parker is headed to third. Tulowitzki tried to force that ball to second base. The play was across the diamond to take the sure out.
Yeah, and we have seen him make heads-up plays like that all season long. At that time, tried to make something where nothing was really there. The play should have been over to first base, get the sure out. It was going to be bang-bang at second base to begin with. Doesn't have a good grip on it, throws it away for his 4th error. But you're right, you can see the runner right on top of the bag anyway. You can see it was going to be close He goes to first base. There's a runner at second and 2 outs, and they'd be facing that pinch hitter. Now they got to face the pinch hitter with first and third and just 1 out.
And that's going to bring up the pinch hitter, Trevor Brown, the catcher that played in last night's game. Batting for the pitcher, Matt Cain. Complexion of this game has changed dramatically. Jesse Chavez in a hurry. He ran down to that bullpen, and he is really trying to get loose quickly. No Gavin Floyd tonight. He worked in back-to-back games. The scoring on the ball hit by Tomlinson. It's an infield hit, and the air is charged to Tulowitzki. I don't agree with that at all. I think if he goes across to first base, it's a routine out.
Sure. All right, now Jay's got to pick up his teammate right here. He threw a good changeup to get that ground ball off the bat of Tomlinson.
Got that fastball in a good spot. 1-2. Parker singled to right, went to third base on the base hit and error. Strike 3 call. Boy, that inside corner has been good to Jay Happ all night long.
Especially when you can cut the ball in there like he did right there. He has to pick up his teammate after the error. And watch him just throw this ball right on the inside corner. What a huge strikeout that was. Jay Happ hasn't struck out a batter since the 5th inning. He picked a big time to do it.
He gets the pinch hitter Trevor Brown now back to the top of the order. Bernard Span has grounded out, walked, and hit into a double play. 2 outs, 2 aboard. Jay Happ pitching with a 2-0 lead. Fly ball to left. Saunders is back. He's got room, and the inning is over. What a job by Jay Happ. 8 innings. He shuts out the Giants through 8 innings and gets a big strikeout and a flyout to end the 8th. Nothing but a loss looking him straight in the eye, but he had a good outing. 107 pitches. He allows the Blue Jays just 6 hits over 8 innings. 2 earned runs. They both came off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki, a solo home run and a sac fly. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 7.
Had to make pitches when he needed to and did. Got through 8 innings without a walk, 7 strikeouts. He will give way to Derek Law. 10 games for Law. He's 1-0 with a 104 earned run average. He was the Giants' number 9 round pick in 2011 out of Miami-Dade Junior College. There's been a lot of major leaguers come out of that school. hides the ball well. He's got a plus fastball. He's reached 96, but he's got a very unorthodox delivery. Watch how he delivers the ball, really hides the ball well, making it tough on right-handers.
Bautista takes a look at that first pitch. It's well outside. Bautista 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 6 hits. They had 7 hits in the win last night.
They have used that front door cutter slash slider a lot against Bautista in these first 2 games.
That high fastball.
He might want to start looking for it. Trying to hit it in the seats.
3-1 to the leadoff man here in the 9th. You're right about the unusual delivery. It's got a distinctive pause and then a herky-jerky arm action in the back. Breaking ball. Bautista strikes out. 1 down in the 9th.
He's got what baseball people call a power curveball, and it was on display right here. Right over the top. 3-2. A lot of confidence to strike out Bautista. This bullpen for the San Francisco Giants has been outstanding. Only given up 2 earned runs over the last 10 games.
That's the 11th strikeout for Law in just 9 innings. Encarnacion is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Nothing Blue Jays. Top of the 9th. Jays won 3-1 last night behind Aaron Sanchez. Roberto Osuna loosening up. Osuna saved number 7 last night. Couple of strikeouts for Law here in the 9th.
That is the 9th strikeout by Giants pitching tonight. There's that curveball once again. He gets great torque on it and great spin. And if you're not familiar with him, you don't know much about him, you're facing him for the first time, it can be very difficult. You can see Encarnacion, he's giving a scouting report to the rest of the hitters.
Michael Saunders, who's had a good night, 2 for 3. Got a 1-out triple in the 7th, came in to score on the sacrifice fly. Saunders back over 300. Jay Happ still sitting on the Blue Jays dugout bench. As soon as just kind of getting loose down there, not like he's cranking it up to come into the game. He's just pausing and throwing every once in a while. The catcher hasn't squatted down yet in his crouch.
His pitch count's still pretty good. I mean, there's a left-hander leading off the 9th inning. Let's see how John Gibbons and the crew play this one.
Michael Saunders, a 3-hit night. Couple of singles and a triple. Saunders is out of the game. He's had a good night. 3 hits tonight for Michael Saunders. He'll give way to the pinch runner, Ezequiel Carrera.
He's had a good night. Made a nice play in the outfield, recovering on that ball that glanced off of his glove. Caught the final ball last inning. Went on base 3 times.
Troy Tulowitzki's had a good night. Home run, sac fly. He's driven in both runs in this ball game. That's an unusual breaking ball, and you pointed it out. It's a difficult angle, and it's a late breaker.
It gets right on top of it. You know, you combine that with that unorthodox delivery. It's very tough to pick the ball up.
The Giants are down a couple of their key bullpen pitchers, and George Cantos and Sergio Romo. They're both on the disabled list, but some of these youngsters have stepped up and done a nice job.
We saw Suarez last night and Strickland. Both of them have very good arms. Guerin we saw. And now from the right side, Law. They always seem to come up with some bullpen pieces, don't they?
Well, they got a great manager and a very good pitching coach in Dave Righetti. And they have done a good job of continuing to cycle in good pitching here with the Giants. One and two to Tulowitzki. Well, steps off. Another youngster out in that bullpen is the left-hander Josh Osik. He has pitched very well.
He's got a good arm too from the left side.
Tulowitzki drives this one to left. Garrett Parker's on the run. He's not going to get it. Up against the wall. Carrera's being waved around third. Here's the relay from the shortstop. Not in time. Have a night, Troy Tulowitzki. Carrera, the pinch runner, scoring all the way from first on the second double of the season for Troy Tulowitzki.
You know, you love those add-on runs, especially late in the ball game of a close game. You get two quick outs, a single by Michael Saunders, and then Troy Tulowitzki, who has been the hitting star tonight, comes through. Hanging breaking ball. He stays back on this one and launches it to left field over the outstretched arms of Jarrett Parker. And the Blue Jays get a very important insurance run.
3-0. Two outs for Russell Martin. Ball on the strike now. Two outs, run in. Troy Tulowitzki's had a big night. Seems to be a little confusion down in the bullpen.
Who's throwing? Who's in the ball game?
Martin shoots one into right. Tulowitzki's getting the wave around third. Here's the throw from Pence. Not in time. Russell Martin with a big RBI here in the ninth.
You know, that is Russell Martin's strength right there. When he's thinking going the other way, he probably took note of those first two strikeouts of this inning, that he's got a good breaking ball. So he told himself, I'm going to stay back just a little bit. I've got a runner in scoring position. Let me see if I can shoot the ball to right field. Watch this approach from Martin. See how he stayed back? Let that ball get a little bit deep, shoots it into right field. There's the lane for Tulowitzki to slide as he scores the fourth run. Easily ahead of the tag.
RBI number 7 for Russell Martin. It's a big fourth run for the Blue Jays here in the ninth. They appeal to third base that Tulowitzki had missed the bag going around third, but the third base umpire, Adam Hamari, signals him safe. Looks like Bruce Bochy is looking to the video review room, checking on that. That's what the delay is all about here. They're going to have a look at this now. So the crew chief, Tom Hallion, the home plate umpire, he'll go and check on this replay, and watch the umpire. Boy, he's standing right on top of it. You cannot fault the umpire, Adam Amari, for his position.
From that angle, that looked like a good cut at third base by Tulowitzki. You're taught to hit the inside corner of that bag and then push off towards home plate. Looks like he got the corner of the bag.
This replay review is powered by Samsung. Troy Tulowitzki doesn't seem concerned at all. And here's another look at him rounding third.
This one a little bit higher. Yeah, right on the corner of the bag.
Well, look at the umpire. I mean, that's terrific work by the umpire, Adam Amari. He just goes right in there, and he's standing right over the top of the base. And he was the umpire they appealed to.
I mean, there's no question if it's not that the turn at third base, no question that he scored ahead of the throw at home.
Now they appealed that play at third, and then after the umpire at third called Tulowitzki for touching third, and the Giants looked at the replay. Troy Tulowitzki, what a night he's had. He homered in his first at bat, caught looking at strike 3, front end of a strike him out, throw him out in the 4th, then had a sac fly in the 7th, an RBI double in the 9th. And he scored the 4th run just for good measure. Now Bruce Bochy asked for the review of the base runner tagging third, and Tulowitzki indeed made contact. Russell Martin's at first with a 2-out RBI single. Ryan Goins 1 for 3, the batter. Roberto Osuna standing with a towel over his arm, trying to stay warm. Remember, there are no benches down in the bullpen, and they come sit in the dugout in between. They're warming up. Owens hits it on the ground. Panic is there. Blue Jays are done in the top of the 9th, but they score 2 big runs for Jay Happ. It's a 4-0 game as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Jay Happ out to start the bottom of the 9th. 8 innings, 5 hits, no runs. He's walked 2, struck out 5, and thrown just 94 pitches. He's been in command all night long.
Yeah, he has. And when they have gotten, the Giants gotten runners on base, Jay Happ has buckled down. He's made pitches. The defense has helped him out. Justin Smoke, speaking of defense, comes in to take over for Edwin Encarnacion at first base. Ezekiel Carrera stays in, and he'll man his position in left field. But Happ, the defense has done a good job. Jay has made pitches when he's had to. And he's throwing shutout ball into the ninth.
Jay Happ has had 4 complete games in his career. He's had 3 complete game shutouts. His last complete game, August 30th, 2010, against the St. Louis Cardinals. Won that game 3-0. Allowed 2 hits over his 9 innings of work. Breaking ball, Smoke freshly into the game, flips to Happ. 1 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carly Agro and Carolyn Cameron. Thank you very much, ladies. And that's coming up right after this ball game. So make sure you stay tuned. Lots going on in the sports world. Buster Posey. He's 0-4-3, grounded into a double play. He goes after the first pitch and lifts it into center field. Kevin Pillar is there. 2 down.
You know, I know that the San Francisco Giants have been struggling to score runs, but I'm not going to take anything away from Jay Happ. He has been sensational tonight. When he's had to make pitches, he's done it. He's been in total control of this ball game from the first pitch.
He did a great job of throwing first pitch strikes. He economized on his pitches all night long. Hunter Pence. There have been 8 shutouts in the majors this season. Going into action tonight. Two and 0. Great percentage of strikes.
68% strikes. And again, he's made pitches when he's had to. They've had some runners on base, but he's been able to wiggle out of it.
Hunter Pence fouls it back. Jay Happ turned 2 double plays tonight. He got a double play in the 4th inning, 1 more in the 6th inning. He has now had 11 double plays turned behind him. Only Martin Perez of the Texas Rangers has had more double play ground balls. There's a base hit to right. Hunter Pence is aboard. So Brandon Belt, he's 0-for-3, trying to extend his hit streak. He came in with an 8-game hit streak, hitless so far tonight.
And he has really wore out lefties over the last 3 weeks or so, hitting .467 against him. Tonight, Jay Happ has got him to ground out, pop out, and strike out.
Upstairs, he's thrown a few more pitches up in this inning, which suggests he might be tiring a bit. John Gibbons wants to talk to Pete Walker. There's another pitch upstairs, and Russell Martin's going to go out and try to help Jay regroup here.
Yeah, trying to finish this one off. He's getting a little bit too quick coming out of his delivery. Even though there's 2 outs, runner on first base, John Gibbons and DeMarlo Hale, they've got the closer up. One more guy gets on base, and it will become a safe situation.
Osuna was throwing at the start of the top of the 9th. Blue Jays added 2 runs, and then it became a 4-run ball game. So then he stopped. Now he is loosening up once again. There's a strike. 2-1 to Brandon Belt. This is the 178th start for Jay Happ. He's an out away from his 4th career shutout.
And you know, Gibby wants him to get that. He's saying, hey, if he gets on base, I'm going to make the change.
Three and 2. Jay Happ got a base hit tonight as well. A little icing on the cake. Blue Jay fans rise to their feet. Now back. Remember, it'll be an afternoon affair tomorrow. It all starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's a pregame show. We'll be following that. Marcus Stroman against Madison Bumgarner. Got him. Oh, Russell couldn't hold on to that foul tip off the catcher's glove. Oh, squirted loose.
One more time. Fastball. Just got a piece of it. You can see Russell
never got a glove on it. Yep.
Trying to get the rebound after it hit him in the face mask. Knocked him backwards.
Joe Biagini, the former Giant, getting his first opportunity to play here at AT&T. Hopefully, would like to get into a game. Ball 4. Jay Happ, a 2-out single. John Gibbons is at the top step of the dugout, and he's coming out. And he's going to make the call to the bullpen. Jay Happ goes 8 2/3. Gives up a 2-out single to right and walks Brandon Belt in the 9th.
What an at-bat by Belt. A 9-pitch at-bat. He ended up walking him. Jay Happ brought his team to the 9th inning. Now it's up to Osuna to bring him home. Jay Happ, 8 2/3. No runs on 6 hits, 3 walks, and that last walk
At the end of the night for Jay Happ.
Look at the game face. You can tell the competitiveness of Jay Happ. He wanted to finish this thing, but he can't. John Gibbons is going to go back to his bullpen. Roberto Osuna 7 for 8 and save opportunities. He picked up number 7 in last night's ball game. Trying to finish it off here against Matt Duffy.
First pitch upstairs. Osuna came into the game last night in the 9th inning in a 3-1 game and had Brandon Crawford hit a fly ball to center, and Kevin Ploy misplayed it into a double, but then Osuna got Blanco Brown and the pinch hitter to end the ball game. Matt Duffy, 3 ground ball outs tonight. Two and 1. Osuna's been up with 2 of these pitches. Generally, he is down around the bottom of the strike zone. Another pitch.
Another one.
Jay Happ looking for his first career win against the Giants. Three and two outs. Tonight was the 5th career start for Happ against San Francisco. He was 0-4 in his previous 4 starts. Pence at second, Belt at first, Duffy at the plate.
Those runs don't mean anything. Right there, the guy you want to deal with is at the plate right now.
Power bat on deck is Jared Parker. Fouled out of play. Runners were off on the pitch with the full count and 2 outs.
I'm sure John Gibbons was hoping he didn't have to use Osuna tonight. This is the 3rd straight game that he has pitched in. Maybe that explains why those pitches are up just a little bit. But he needs his closer to come through here in the 9th inning.
Matt Cain and Marcus Stroman in the finale tomorrow afternoon. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fly ball down the right side, but that's going to slice out of play. I said Matt Cain, of course. Bumgarner, Madison Bumgarner will pitch tomorrow against Stroman.
That should be just like today's game. A great pitcher's duel. Cain was great today. Jay Happ was great. Osuna's trying to finish this one off. More the same tomorrow.
Blue Jays trying to make it 2 in a row here in San Francisco. Another 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. And load the bases and bring the tying run to the plate.
And this guy does have some power. We were talking about him in batting practice, launching balls into McCovey Cove. Jared Parker hit 9 home runs in 27 games in AAA this year. He was only hitting .216 when they called him up, but they brought him up because he's left-handed, number 1, and number 2. He can reach the seats.
Bases are loaded, 2 outs. The Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead. Parker is 1 for 2 with a walk. First pitch slider. Russell Martin taking note of those high fastballs.
Helping him to get on top. Also, you got to figure that he was looking for first pitch fastball. 1 for 1 with a grand slam with the bases loaded.
That's a better fastball. 96 in a good spot away.
Try and keep that ball away and keep him in the big part of the ballpark. Tough to pull that outside pitch.
Got it. Russell Martin steps on home plate. That's the ball game. Osuna picks up the save. Jay Happ improves to 5-0 on the season.
Little nervousness there in the 9th inning, but he was in total control from the first pitch until this inning. He got some help from Troy Tulowitzki on a big night offensively, but this was about Jay Happ throwing up some zeros tonight.
Jay Happ 5-0. The Blue Jays go 2-0 in the series, and Osuna picks up save number 8. Troy Tulowitzki with a big night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon here, Sportsnet Central.